I don't know what to say to that.
I wasn't paying attention. Can you say it again?
Nathan, would you care to share the story with Tim again?
No, I'm good. I don't want to repeat it.
But I need to know.
Yeah, Nathan. Repeat it for Tim.
You're not quenching my thirst for knowledge.
I can tell if we're recording
Absolutely, we are.
already.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Hard Reset, a Cold North production. I'm your host, Patrick Dalla Morris. Joining me this week, we have the tenacious Tim Miller.
What happened to your voice?
I'm acting like I'm announcing a monster truck rally.
Oh,
I have an
I like
audition this week for monster trucks.
this is how far he has fallen, folks.
And the notorious Nathan Crumrine.
Hello.
That's how I'm going to announce.
Nathan Crumrine.
Yeah, that's how I'm going to announce Gravedigger.
Love it.
Coming up on Hard Reset, we'll be discussing the Nintendo Switch price cut and what it might mean for the console's future. Battlefield 2042 has been delayed officially and unofficially. And Deathloop is getting some stellar reviews. So I want to know how we're feeling about that at this point. But before we get to all that, I want to know what you guys have been playing this week. Nathan, tell me what you've been playing.
Oh, I spent 3 entire days playing
Playing what?
Oblivion, like Elder Scrolls 4.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Blast the past.
Okay. What
Oh, it's
inspired
been
you to
great.
do this?
God, I think it was a meme. What was it that? Here, I gotta scroll back into this Discord. So I have like an Elder Scrolls Discord with my brother and some friends because we got on this was it last summer? Yeah, it was last summer. We went on this like tangent where we got Morrowind online and got that
Oh,
running,
yeah.
and we had a server and we're playing crap out of that, and it was just it was
I remember
it was
when you
awesome.
did that.
And so yeah, it was a lot of fun actually, and like it just broke everything, and in the best way, where we all had like this whole different economy just from Dark Brotherhood armor, because they wouldn't stop spawning and they were leveled, so they would just slaughter us, and we had to like it was like we had raids going on. So anytime someone had one spawn, we'd like message everyone in the server, be like, "Hey, I need help in Balmora," like because they're too powerful, and so we'd all like get together to help each other kill these Dark Brotherhood assassins that if you haven't played, they just appear because of DLC, and that's how you get to like play the DLC. Is you go, oh, someone was trying to kill you. Who was trying to kill you? Oh, let's go to this place where they were trying to kill you, and you go to a whole new spot. But yeah, like the thing is, the armor for the Dark Brotherhood is like so good to sell. It's like so expensive, and so it's so lucrative. So we literally had like an economy based on like farming these Dark Brotherhood people and or assassins, and I don't know, it was just a lot of fun. So someone sent some meme in that chat, and like we were talking about how like awful Oblivion was, and I was like, you know what? I kind of feel like hopping on that train again.
This
but,
game
like,
is
modding it out.
terrible, but like I'm gonna play it again.
Well, yeah, I was like, I wonder how much better I could make it with mods, and so I modded the shit out of it, and man, I've just been having so much fun. Like I don't know, it's weird. I've been addicted, straight addicted, 3 straight days. What's wrong with me?
And did you not do like any work during those days?
3 straight days.
3 days. You're gonna choose not to answer that question. Oh
I think I
man,
answered it just fine.
I know what I'm about, son. Oh man, Well, that's congratulations. It's 2006,
Yeah.
but now it's been more than twice as long. It's been twice as long since Skyrim as it was between Skyrim and Oblivion.
Yep.
So, well, that
Yep.
sounds like a ton of fun. Did you how were the mods? Like how far are you?
Oh,
How many gates have you gotten through?
none. I haven't been doing any of the goals. I want to show you. I want to show you this picture of Breville. Like no one else is gonna be able to see it, but you guys just. I want you to explain to people what you see.
Jesus Christ.
Where are we putting
I'm gonna
this?
put it. I'm gonna put it in topics.
And so you're playing this on PC then?
Yes. All right.
All right.
This is the B mods.
Oh my god.
Nathan, I think you broke something.
Okay, so what we're looking at here for anyone who's listening is Oblivion with floating gigantic warning signs everywhere.
Yep, yellow diamond shape with an exclamation point on them. It
I
looks
don't-
like they're trying to build a house or some kind of something,
So
but
I
it's
don't-
not building correctly.
I don't know. I've never modded a game personally. So what am I looking at here, Nathan? Is this like a failure of the mod?
Yeah, so I went like 15 hours into the game not going to this one particular city because I didn't have any reason to, and I was like, all right. And then later I was like, all right, I'm looking for this spell. I need to go to all the different mages guilds across like the whole map. And so I fast travel into this city, and immediately a man dies in front of me because whatever is going on is like clipping into his body and just like destroying him. And so he dies, a dog dies, people are dying. And it's because like the textures and like the meshes are missing. The mod like replaced some city stuff, like all the buildings, and it couldn't load them properly. So it's just chaos and desolation, and it's really funny. I think it's great.
Wow.
But yeah, I since fixed that because I still needed to find the spell, and that's the only reason.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you aren't playing the game with warning signs everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple somewhere around, but you know, those.
But you know, who cares about
I can
those?
suspend my disbelief.
All right. Tim, you disappeared and now you're back. Tell
I did.
us what you've been playing this week. Please
So-
tell me something that's not Oblivion.
It's not Oblivion.
Say Oblivion.
It's an RPG though, a brand new JRPG that came out.
Oh, tell me about it. Tales of Arise.
Yep, I am loving it so far. All the characters are pretty unique. There's only one that I really hate with a passion and just can't stand, so that's not too bad. The combat's a lot better than Berseria was. They're still using the same kind of diamond system of attacks, along with arts being able to be chained together and so on. Which was kind of a little bit disappointing, considering I prefer more of the older style, like Vesperia and Symphonia on that mark. The only bad thing I have to say about this game so far is, unlike previous Tale games, you don't get money for finishing fights. You only get experience.
Okay.
And enemies will sometimes drop items that you can like sell for money. So you kind of get it in the same way. I just don't feel like I'm able to grind out money as easily
Right.
as I used to.
The economy is just maybe a little more strained.
Yeah. And that might be just the difficulty I'm playing on, because I'm playing on the hardest one. I've played all of the Tales on the hardest difficulty, so that might be part of it. I haven't really tested all that out yet, but they've included side quests now, which are a lot more lengthy, a lot more I guess you could say rewarding. So they actually give you a ton of money, they give you a ton of experience, they give you a ton of like extra stuff like new recipes, key items that you might need later in the. So they've
Nice.
definitely improved upon it. like I said, I like all the characters. A lot of the customization stuff is back from Berseria, so you can just add weird random things to your characters for no God given reason.
Nice. So, so you mentioned it. You like compared it to a few of them. How would you say this one stacks up? Because this one is getting like stellar reviews. Like, I don't play any of the Tales of games, but this is the first one that I feel like has gotten good enough reviews that it's like on everyone's radar. Like, this is the one that's breaking into the mainstream, I feel like.
So I'm only 30 hours in, so I haven't finished
Only?
it yet. Only. Yep. You'd be surprised. I'm only level like 27, 28
Okay.
in a game that you usually finish around 70 or 80.
Yikes.
So it's got a lot of content, and I'm okay with that. So far, I'm liking it better than Zestiria. I'm liking it better than Tales of the Abyss. I'm liking it better than Graces, which doesn't say much because those are kind of free on the lower end of things. Although people probably might disagree with me on Abyss. But I still prefer Symphonia more.
Okay.
I still prefer Vesperia over it. Berseria is kind of on the same line as it right now. It might surpass it. We'll see what happens. But,
Okay.
yeah, at the halfway point, I think it's in the upper echelon for sure. But it hasn't reached a good peak yet. So
Interesting. All right. I mean, I personally don't. I don't use like I don't play a lot of JRPGs. That's just not really my jam. But I've heard this one's great, and like if you're 30 hours in, obviously you're enjoying it to a significant degree to like keep playing it, right? So
yeah.
So I mean that's pretty cool. Nathan, any interest in Tales of Arise?
I know literally nothing about these games, so it sounds interesting. Is it RPGs in like tactics kind of combat stuff, like turn-based?
Turn-based.
No, it's
is-
not turn-based.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's kind of like an open like battle simulation. You can run around full 360 inside of like a small little arena for each fight.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Each enemy has weaknesses, strengths. Depending on like what they can do, you can stop them with other characters. You can switch out your party now, which I didn't mention, in the middle of a fight, which is something you've never been able to do before, which makes things 1,000 times better, especially if someone goes down. You can just swap
Nice.
them out. You don't even have to heal.
Wow.
Interesting.
Well,
But yeah,
That-
it's pretty fun. I'd suggest at least taking a look at it. And any of you
Yeah,
who've played Tales games before, get it.
all right.
Just go buy it.
So this is like a good jumping on point.
Yep,
All right.
absolutely.
That could explain why I'm hearing so many good things about it. Is like maybe it's just capturing a wider audience, a lot like Dragon Quest XI did, right?
Yeah, they've taken what they learned from the past two, Zestiria and Berseria, and they've just made it 1,000 times better in
How
almost
many-
every aspect.
How many games are in this franchise?
15-ish. I don't know exactly off the top of my head.
Wow,
Jeez.
that's insane. All right, well, pretty cool. You're gonna have to keep us updated. I personally am back into Apex. I like Apex. I think it's. I mean, we all know that like they fucked up the loot drops, right? And that's what made like right at the beginning of season 9. That's what made the game bad. Was you could get all the way to the end of a match. You could be like top 5 and finishing with like a pistol, an SMG, and white armor in the top 5. And it's like, if loot drops are that sparse, then it's literally just, you're pulling the lever on a slot machine and it's just taking 15 minutes for that slot machine to give you a shit prize to tell you that you're a loser. And that really frustrated me because we were really into Apex for a long time.
We were.
It's better. It's not as good as it was, and I'll fully admit that, but it's much better now than it was at the beginning of season 9. Loot is dropping quickly. Like, you're gonna get good guns and you're gonna get good armor fairly quickly if you loot well. So it's really encouraging, and I don't know. I'm dipping back in. Like that was, it legitimately climbed to near the top of like one of my favorite multiplayer shooter experiences I've ever had. And so it's really refreshing to have it back to being good. I just hope it stays this way. Nathan, I saw you were playing online last night. What made you come back into it?
I just knew like it was working for me again. I mean, the reason why I stopped playing around the same time was because the game literally was unplayable. I think it was after like the Legacy update. It would take 10 minutes just to get into like the main lobby, and then I would get kicked out of every match, and it wouldn't kick me back to the lobby, it would kick me back to the very first screen, and then it would take another 10 minutes to load into a lobby.
Oh.
So 20 minutes after the game being open, I was playing for maybe a minute or less, you know, and then I would try to be loading in, and I wouldn't even get to choose my character with my squads, and I'd show up after like the first round was over of
arenas,
and it just was really, really bad for me. So I stopped playing, and then I've been trying to get back into it because I actually enjoy the game when it works. For me last night, however, my friend and I we were playing duos and back and forth. We both just kept getting kicked over and over again. So I think they have some server issues to work out. And the other thing too, I don't know if like optimization things have changed, but my friend was able to play just fine on lower settings before, but now it's basically unplayable for him.
Oh, interesting.
He gets 10 to 20 frames per second. It's just really rough. So
the servers are something I think everyone is aware of at this point. Like,
yeah.
The servers are terrible, and it's like this is one of EA's highest grossing properties. Like this is, I mean, it's like this in FIFA right now. And it's like, how are they not putting more money into fixing the servers is something that kind of blows me away. The optimization thing, like that sucks that that's happening to your friend. It's something I'm a little bit more forgiving of just because it's like game development is hard, right? And especially to keep a game, like the game is already live. It's not like they can pull it back and work on it and then, you know, and then like push it back out when it's working. It's live and they got to kind of put the plane together in the air. But, or like make repairs while they're in the air. But the servers thing is like, that is something that is at least to my layman's understanding, it's like, it is a problem that like to a certain extent you can just throw money at it and it'll fix the problem. And so I don't know why with as much money as this game makes, I don't know why EA doesn't just throw a shitload of money at the problem.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, agreed. That's my biggest thing right now. It's just that sucks.
Yeah. And then Tim, I'm not even going to ask you. I know you hate battle royales, so.
I mean, hey, I'm glad you guys are having fun with it again, but I do feel the need to say you guys need help. Apex Anonymous is a thing. Go do it.
Intervention. No, I mean, you know what? When you said that before, when we were playing before, I would maybe give you a little bit of credence there. Like it was like 3 or 4 times a day people were throwing it in the Discord of like,
it was a bit unhealthy.
Apex anyone? And like 3 or 4 times a day people were saying, yeah, let's do it. And like,
yep.
I would love to get us back to that point, but I think Nathan, like you were alluding to, like the servers need to be fixed before our group will get back there. So, hope, fingers crossed. Hopefully we get there. And I also started playing Mafia 2 this week. Mafia 2 is cool. I really liked Mafia. I don't know. I'm just going to I'm like only an hour in or so I'm just going to keep going through it, see how it goes. I like that setting, so we'll see. But now it's time for the news at now.
The news show. It's the news show.
Am I supposed to be doing that?
No, I mean you can if you want.
Okay.
We have a
I
news
just remember-
song that you can't hear that is
Oh.
Ben singing.
Oh,
But you just can't hear it. But if you want to sing under Ben singing, go nuts. In fact,
okay.
please do. Actually, that'll make it better. And like also please never listen to the podcast because you knowing what Ben's singing sounds like would make it worse. So, news it now. The Switch. Excluding the Switch Lite, which, you know, if you want to consider the Switch Lite a price cut, whatever. The Switch finally got a price cut. So it was rumored that a Switch price cut for the standard Switch would be coming in Europe. And then Nintendo confirmed earlier this week that it was cut from £280 to £260 in the UK and €330 to €270 in other territories. So, this is like not insignificant. It's like $60. And I think that what's even more interesting is just it's happening just weeks before the OLED model. So I wanted to get you guys' take because I wrote a little bit about this week, and I just wanted to hear what you guys had to say about it. Do you think that this is like, should we be ringing alarm bells for the standard Switch? Is it on its way out? And is it just going to be replaced by the OLED model entirely? Or is it going to continue to exist at this lower price?
I mean, I'm fairly confident that this price cut is a way of them to get what's left of the standard out of the storehouse so they can make room for the OLED model, and that's just going to be their primary Switch for the now.
That's what I was thinking too. And like, because if you think about it logistically, right? A customer goes into the store to buy a Switch. They want to spend like $300. They look and there is, if the standard Switch is discontinued, they have two options. They either spend an extra $50 and buy the OLED model, or they spend $100 less and get the Lite. And they either fork over another $50 or they settle for a Switch Lite. And like, what segment, how much of the market do you think is actually unwilling to do either of those things in the store? Like, such a minuscule,
very little.
Yeah, so few people are willing to, like, aren't willing to either pay an extra $50 or settle for a Switch Lite. And so the savings, I feel like the savings of getting rid of one SKU from their lineup would far outweigh the losses that are incurred from those people that aren't willing to do either of those things. Nathan, what do you think?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know.
All right. Tim, jump in.
So another thing I wanted to point out is, well, they're already making the Switch Lite. They're keeping that around.
Yeah.
They're
For
upgrading to the OLED model. Why would you keep producing the other model at the same time when you already have this brand new, better model? It just makes more sense just to produce that bigger, better new model, especially considering we're, what, 4 years, almost 5 years in, 4.5 years at this point.
4.5 years in.
To the Switch at this point, meaning it's either going to start coming to the end of its life over the next couple of years, or we're eventually going to see another version of it.
Yeah.
So getting rid of the original version, which has, unfortunately, worse specs than the current OLED model that's coming out, just makes sense.
Well,
Yeah, that makes sense to me too.
yeah, and I mean, then we also have to look at, like, I think this news came in late yesterday of, turns out the new dock will get firmware updates, but the old dock won't. And so, like, I'm just left thinking, like, the new Switch can use the old dock. And so there was zero reason for them to make a new dock unless they were going to do something like firmware updates. And if they're doing firmware updates, then like I think that points to like it needs to be able to interface with other devices, and they're getting ready for some sort of major upgrade for the Switch.
Yep.
Nathan, you're nodding a
what
lot.
do you? Well, it makes sense. I mean, like we just got the Bluetooth update finally.
Yes. Oh my
Right?
God.
Mhm.
Finally.
I when I got a Switch at first, I was like, cool, I'm gonna be able to use my Bluetooth headphones for this.
And then you were like, wait,
Ah,
what?
fuck you. Nope.
I was like, great,
How do I
all
do
right.
this? And you're like Googling it. It's one of those moments.
Yeah, literally. And like some people said you could, and some people said you couldn't, and then finally I found the answer that you couldn't. And I was just like, what the what? Why? Anyway, so what kind of when you say like you think there's something else like bigger coming, what do you think that could be?
So I think that I don't see a future where Nintendo does anything besides a hybrid console moving forward.
Yeah, that
Nintendo
makes sense to me.
changes it up a lot every generation, or at least they have for a while. So like the GameCube to the Wii was radically different, and then the Wii to the Wii U was radically different, and the Wii U to the Switch has been radically different. This entire century, all of like each new console has been a radical change. I think the Switch is them settling into they finally found like, okay, this is it. This is what's going to slap forever. And that's their spot. And like Nintendo has always been the king of handhelds, right? Like no one, even when Sony sold 80 million PSPs, they still sold barely, like Nintendo still sold almost 2 DSs for every PSP Sony sold. And it's like, even when one of their competitors is wildly successful, Nintendo still clobbers them. And so I think that I think the Switch is just the finalization of their transformation from a console maker to a handheld maker. They're out of the home console game, and they're just making a handheld device that you like, a handheld gaming console, I guess, that you can also happen to play on your TV, that they give you a way to play on your TV. And so like I think that they're like, the future of Nintendo is this hybrid, like, you know, handheld that you play on your TV. And if that's the case, I think they're getting set up for the future for like, you know, I don't think it's going to be a Switch Pro, but I think like whatever it is, it's, you know, Switch, like second generation Switch. So
That makes sense.
something, and like this fancy new dock with Ethernet and everything, and firmware updates that will be able to interface with, like, I think they're setting up an ecosystem to interface with Switches, like future Switches that are more aggressive from a hardware perspective than the current Switch.
Switch 2, Electric Boogaloo. Let's go.
Exactly. So I don't know. Any thoughts on this, guys? Do we think, because the Nintendo also said, and you know, in the interest of balance, Nintendo did also say that they have no intention of cutting the price in the United States.
Really?
Yeah.
Wonder why that is.
I mean, it's been selling well here still in the US. I don't think it's been selling as well in Europe, and I think that's what they're trying to push with that.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that it's just like they're basically selling every single unit they can make. And if you're selling every unit you can make 4.5 years later, then I don't see a reason for them to continue to sell a $300 Switch, because they will be able to sell every $350 Switch they make. So I don't know.
They
Time will
kind
tell.
of they did the same thing, I guess, with I mean, because when I got my Switch, not my Lite, but the other one, when we got ours, you know, they already had 2 versions out, one with a better battery and one without, and they were the same price. So
Yeah.
It's going to probably just be like that, where you just have to, as a consumer, you got to be aware.
Yeah, and like that's actually a really good comparison, because maybe they're just like the Redbox Switch. Maybe they're just gonna stop making it eventually, and it's just like they're not gonna say anything. They're not gonna officially discontinue. It's just gonna be, this is the Switch. Like the OLED model is just, this is the Switch.
Yeah,
And
I could see that being.
and like they'll just very subtly drop the OLED branding after a while. And it'll just be, this is the Nintendo Switch.
Makes sense.
I don't know. We'll see. Moving forward, though, you know, we got to keep moving forward. Battlefield 2042. Nathan, I know you're buying this. Tim, are you going to buy Battlefield?
No,
No,
I'm
no
not.
interest.
I'm not planning on it.
Okay. So leaks were going around earlier this week that Battlefield 2042 was going to get delayed into 2022. When that happened, EA stock prices took a pretty hard nosedive, and then EA confirmed that the game has been delayed, and it's now coming out on November 19th, 2021. So they are still going to hit that holiday season. Stock prices immediately came back up. I guess. So a delay, I mean, let's talk about just the delay in general. So delays in general, I'm all for them. How do you guys feel about this delay?
I don't mind them so long as the game actually ends up being good and ends up actually being playable.
Yeah.
That's
Go ahead, Nathan.
That's about where I'm at too. I'm all for delays as long as they make the game better, and as long as they aren't, as long as the developers themselves aren't, because like as long as they aren't being put in crunch time and it's being unfair, like working conditions and everything, like, because I can only imagine they're, you know, stressed out and then relieved and then also probably stressed out again, because now it's like, well,
Now we have to crunch
show
longer.
must go longer, yeah. So I'm down with them as long as they actually are done well, and it's a delay that needs to happen to, you know, make the game better. In this case, I'm a little wary, but I'm still probably going to get it, and I don't know. I really like Battlefield, so I'm got my fingers crossed.
Now, they only pushed it back, like, what, a month? A couple weeks?
Yeah, like a month.
Like, see, that I don't feel is too bad. I feel like that is, all right, we're having some frame rate issues in some places. We need to touch up a few little things. It doesn't scream, oh, something's absolutely wrong with this. We need another 6 months to fix it. That's why I'm a little bit more hopeful for it.
Okay. I mean, that's a good take on it, because it's like there are small delays like this, and then there are big delays, like Halo. And so, like,
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, Cyberpunk got multiple very large delays.
And it still didn't work when it came out.
Yeah, and I mean, Cyberpunk is kind of the the rubric for like just kind of the test bed for where, like, how I have come to where I stand on delays in general. And so I'm just gonna throw this out there, devil's advocate to what you were saying, Nathan, of like, and like Tim, you also mentioned, you know, if it means the game is good, like if the game eventually comes out and it's good, then yeah, delays are fine. Has there ever been a delay that made a game worse?
Yeah.
What delay?
Well, no. I mean, like, yeah, like I agree. There hasn't been one that's made a game worse.
And so I'm like, you know, if a developer,
we know of.
Yeah, well, if a developer is looking at a game saying, we need to delay this, I don't care. Unilaterally, I do not care. If that's what they say, delay it. I don't care. And you know what? I want developers to get more aggressive about delays, because Nathan, like you were saying about like working conditions, Tim's disagreeing. So Tim, I want to hear why you disagree in just a minute, but I just want to finish this thought. with working conditions, I would rather them say, like, I would rather them look at something and say, okay, this needs 2 more months worth of work, and then delay 3 months rather than 1 month, so that I know that their working conditions are good.
Yeah.
Tim, you were disagreeing about being more aggressive about delays. Tell me why.
So I want to get rid of the entirety of announcing games 2 or 3 years early.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it anymore. I really want developers to get their shit together, get their stuff done, announce it a month or 2 before to get everything like super hyped, have it launch within that window.
Yeah.
And like then we're good to go. I don't want to be waiting 5 years for Metroid Prime 4 anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I totally agree with you, Tim. I would say like 6 months, because they need a marketing cycle, right? They need to be able to market the game. But I am with you, because, like, last week we talked about how excited we are for these Insomniac games, including Wolverine. When the fuck is Wolverine coming out?
2023, 2024, who the fuck knows?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Not I.
Spider-Man 2 is 2023.
Yep.
Wolverine is probably going to be 2024 at the earliest.
Yeah.
And so Bethesda makes a lot of mistakes, and that Bethesda does a lot wrong. There is no doubt about that. Like, they made Oblivion, and no, I'm kidding. I love Oblivion. But like, one thing that Bethesda has done that is just undeniable that Bethesda did right was Fallout 4. Fallout 4, the game wasn't great, but they announced it, and 6 months later it was out.
Yep. They did the same thing with 76, actually. I commend them for what they were trying to do, knowing the kind of like dumpster fire that was 76. I'm pretty sure for them it was like 3 months away. It was like, and you can play it in 3 months, or
Yeah.
It was like stupid short, and it was incredible. And like the wait was like,
it gives you enough time
even
to get
more
really excited.
And like it doesn't give you time for like the kind of like adult life to kick in to the point where you're like, oh yeah, that looks cool when I think about it. But like when 76 was coming around, like my brother was like researching the different perks and stuff, and like trying to make builds and everything, and we all got it, and like it was just so much easier to get on that hype train and enjoy the game for what it was, in my opinion. But if 76 had been successful and that's what they had done, that would have been just so incredible. And I'm with you there. Is like, I'd much rather have because I mean, I'm not going to make an opinion about the game until it's in my hands and I see it, or I see other people's interpretations. So the more you delay it, the more that you're guaranteeing that you have a good product that people are going to, that it's going to be successful. So there's really no reason not to, for me, to delay things. So I don't know.
Yeah. And so Tim, I love what you're saying about this. I want them to get more aggressive about delays, because if they look at it and they say we need 6 more months, take 9, take 12. I don't care. But stop announcing games 4 years early, because then when you need 6 months of delay, then like suddenly it's, well, I've been waiting for this game for 5 years. Where the hell is it? But
instead of, oh, I've been waiting for this game 6 months. You need a couple months.
All right, you need another 6 months. Take another 6 months. I don't care. But
cool.
And I think that that's a great solution. Like, I think that those two things in tandem would lead to a much more satisfied consumer base. But then looking at this delay in specific, like to kind of hone in and pull us back into Battlefield 2042, with the stock prices, do you guys think, and I was just sort of thinking, with the idea of like take 6 months, do you think that maybe EA saw the stock prices dive and said, this game has to be out for holiday, and then just were in a rush to announce a new date that would reassure stockholders that it was gonna, that it was gonna hit the holiday season?
It's a very, very high possibility that that was part of their decision to only
Yeah.
go back 1 month.
Yeah, I mean,
Wait.
That's my reservation for sure. Like,
Exactly.
That's the thing I'm most worried about.
it's like maybe this is a situation that it needs 3 or even 6 more months in the oven, but their EA is pushing it out a month. Like they gave them, okay, you get 1 month because you still have to hit that holiday window, and like that sucks. Like if that's the case, that sucks.
Yeah, and like I just hope it doesn't turn into an Infinite situation where,
Yeah.
hey, we're only releasing the single player campaign to start. You'll get a multiplayer a few months after. You get Forge even longer after that. It's just,
Yeah,
I hope it doesn't turn into one of those situations for the game.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. I mean, we'll have to see when the game comes out. I am thinking I'm probably going to wait to pull the trigger. I don't know. I might buy it day one.
Well, I mean, it's EA, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be on Game Pass
No,
because of EA Play.
It'll show up on EA Play in like 3 or 6 months. So maybe I'll play it then.
Yeah, like if it shows up then, I'll probably just check it out, but I'm not going to pay full $70 for it.
I think that the reason that I'm still open to paying $70 for it on day one is just because of how much fun we had with Apex earlier this year. I just want a game that is Field of Fire for our group. And like,
yes,
with how psyched everyone was getting about Battlefield earlier this year, I was thinking, okay, yeah, I'm 100% in. This is going to be Field of Fire. And I mean, I wish it didn't have to get delayed, but if it does, I wish they just delayed it into 2022.
Only time will tell, right?
Yeah.
Yep. It might be worth it just to, sit back for a night or whatever, or a day, and see what's going on. I mean, honestly, you're not going to be able to get into the servers anyway day one, so
Yeah.
You're better off waiting a few.
Yeah, I mean, if Apex is anything to go off of, I mean, that game launched more than 2 years ago, and so like maybe we'll give 2042 like 3 years.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Deathloop. So last week on the podcast, we all were kind of feeling pretty meh on Deathloop, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah,
I was stoked on it.
Oh, you're stoked on it? Okay.
Yeah, I was stoked on it before.
Oh, and that's right. That's right.
Cool. Yeah.
You were thinking like, oh, is my PC up to it?
Probably, yeah.
So it's at an 89 on Metacritic. It got a 10 from IGN.
Wow, nice.
I don't put much stock in IGN. I'll be real honest. They've been giving out 10s quite a bit over the past couple of years, to the point where it's like,
oh, really? I feel like
I'm
IGN,
trusting your grading scale at this point.
they gave several 10s in. I think they gave several in 2018 and then in 2020, but I could be wrong.
There have been a lot more in the past few years that have just been, to me at least, looking at it
like questionable.
They're being a bit more generous these days, I feel. So,
all right, that's fair enough. It's fair criticism.
anyways, still
Something interesting, and this does kind of tie in with what you were saying there, Tim, is the user score on Metacritic is a 5.8, which I haven't heard anyone saying anything bad about this game. So I'm wondering where this is coming from.
the only bad thing I've heard is a glitch involving, what is her name, Juliana. If you're playing as her, it can, when you load into a player's game, depending on the dialogue, it can reveal spoiler information. To if you're not as far in the game as the person you're invading.
Oh, okay. I mean, that kind of makes sense though. Like
it does, but I've heard a few people complain about that being a problem.
Okay.
So,
but
Nathan, other than that, yeah, no, it's been good all around.
Yeah, Nathan, what were you going to say about the 5.8?
It's out of 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's out of 17.
Yeah, it's a weird scale.
Well, before you have currently sitting at 89 on Metacritic, and then user scores on Metacritic
It's 5.8 out
are
of
5.8.
100.
I was like, what the
5.8 out
hell?
of
Like,
100. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that sounds like a review bomb to me. But
Honestly, with the way that the critics are talking about this game, and with the way that the conversation that I've been hearing about this game is going, I kind of think even a 5.8 out of 10 is maybe a bit of a review bomb.
yeah, very
Like,
possible.
and like, to be frank, like, to be clear, I hate the idea of, you know, calling something a review bomb, because I think that so many people, like Ghostbusters 2016, that movie just sucked. People weren't review bombing it because, oh, we hate women. That movie was just bad. And like, it's not review bombing. It's just the movie's bad. And like Justice League, Joss Whedon's Justice League, that movie is just bad. It wasn't people review bombing because, oh, we love Marvel, we hate DC. It was just a bad movie. And so I hate when people try and say, oh, well, you know, try and brush off criticism, and they don't take it seriously because, oh, well, it's just like anything that they don't want to hear. They're like, oh, well, it's just review bombing. That's not the case. But in this situation, there doesn't seem to be anything controversial there. I have heard nothing but good things about the game, and the critics are loving it. And so it's like, I feel like it's gotta be, and I don't know what these people are upset about.
Yeah, I don't know
I
either.
honestly couldn't tell you.
I
But
mean, like,
go ahead.
sorry,
No, go right
like,
ahead.
like Brandon, Ethan, and Dom, they all got it, and they all love it, as far as I can tell.
Yeah,
So, I mean, our three friends that
bought it.
that got it all love it. So, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's making me very curious to play it. But then Ethan tells me, like, I mean, if you didn't like the gameplay of Dishonored, you're not gonna like it. And I don't like the gameplay of Dishonored, so.
And that right there is why I probably won't be picking it up.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit on Twitch, and I was like, this is giving me very, very Dishonored feels.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of either of those two games, so I was like, it's probably gonna be a pass for me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Nathan, did you play Dishonored?
Yeah, I played the first one. I never finished it, but I got probably about halfway through it, and I enjoyed it. I just had a natural drop off, like I do with many things. But
Yeah.
that's not a deterrent to me. Like I had fun with Dishonored. The only things with Dishonored that bothered me were that it felt a little like the stealth was just really hard to me. But I don't know. I saw a little bit of Brandon playing it the other night, and I thought it looked pretty cool. So I'm not worried about it.
Okay, so Tim, I think you and I are both firmly in the camp of like, I'm glad it's doing well, but I like, even the things that I'm hearing that are like, oh yeah, it's so good because of this, are things that are just not for us. And so
Yep.
we're like, the good reviews aren't changing our minds. Nathan,
Yeah, no, the reviews aren't doing anything for me.
Nathan, you're the one I'm really interested in here. Are the reviews being so stellar, making you think, well, maybe I will pick this up on PC?
The main thing for me is just like one of the best things about online games like this, especially where there's like a kind of story, is that it's probably better to get into it sooner rather than later when your friends are like into it
Yeah.
and discovering it with you, you know. But if I wait till later, then it's like, okay, I probably just won't play online, you know.
Yeah.
And is that really something that's missing? I don't know, because of the Juliana thing sounds interesting and fun, and the invasion, but I don't know. I'll just probably stick with Oblivion right now. I mean,
And Oblivion, you already own it, and you already know what it is.
yeah,
Does
yeah.
How many warning signs does Deathloop have? Really?
I mean, really, yeah. Come on,
No,
you gotta have at least 10.
Hundreds of
meet my
warning
standard.
signs. 10 out of 10. All right, so that, I mean, it's interesting to know. Didn't like Tim, you and I were happy that it's getting good reviews. Didn't change our mind. Nathan apparently is too addicted to Oblivion to think about anything else, which brings us to the topic of the show. All right, topic of the show. We're going to be talking about our most embarrassing achievements, but then also some achievements that, you know, we just kind of standout achievements that we're proud of, achievements that we're ashamed of. Tim, I know that you've got some good ones. I know that I've got a few locked and loaded. Nathan, I want to hear from you first.
Okay.
What is your most embarrassing achievement?
So I'm taking the word achievements very
liberally.
Liberally, yeah. It's not necessarily like a notification that pops up and says, "Hey, you did this." It's just memories from me so far. Really, a couple of them are achievements, but so. So, like, I think the one that I immediately thought of when we were talking about our most embarrassing achievements, was there's this game when I was younger on PlayStation 2 that I just dumped thousands of hours of my life into between the first one and the second one, and that's Champions of Norath and Champions 2 Return to Arms. Those games were just so damn cool to me. I don't know why I loved them so much, but I did. And they have this arena mode, like this kind of side mission thing, where you could get like money and stuff for like and you could unlock something that would help you towards other stuff. Like they had this cool thing where you had all the main levels and then you had two side kind of missions or places you could go to, like either shops or like a little mission. Like they even had one where you were just betting on different creatures fighting each other. And anyway, so they had this wave one where you were just fighting waves of enemies and bosses. And every like 10-20 waves, they would come up with a message that says something about like you've achieved this, you're this tier warrior or something like that. And I had these two swords that I had gotten, like, just not by cheating, but basically by cheating.
Okay.
like you could import other characters from other games, and then like you could drop their equipment and then pick it up on another character. So you just farm for one character. And so I got two swords that like would heal you when you had them out. They were kind of weak, but like anyway. So I was just basically unstoppable because I would run away and kite and then heal, just holding these swords, and then get back in the fight. And I just did that for hours. Like I did that for probably like 3 hours straight, just this one thing. And it got to the point where I had gotten so many waves that a message popped up and it said, "This is the last message. Go to bed." And like, I just thought that was awesome. It was like midday at this point, but I just thought that was hilarious.
You were shamed by the game.
Yeah, it was like, stop. Like you can quit now. Like, what have we done to you?
That's funny. I thought that was good. That's a clever fourth wall break. And so is that one, are you proud of that one, or is that one more embarrassed by?
I mean, a little both, because I don't know how many other people saw that message, you know?
Probably not many.
Yeah, so that's kind of one of those things where it's like, all right, that's a cool little nugget that I'll probably never forget. But at the same time, it is probably a little embarrassing because the programmers were just like, okay, if they keep going after this, it's just like, we're not rewarding you for this.
Yeah, like you've played our game too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of thing. Well, that's
so. Are we gonna go around in circles with our embarrassing ones and then come back with our proud ones? What's the
Yeah,
format here? What do
sure.
you think?
Tim, yeah, no, that's a good idea. Tim, what's your most embarrassing achievement?
So I kind of went at this in a different direction. I was focused more on my like Xbox and achievements, trophies, and stuff like that
Fair
for
enough.
this. So a couple of my most embarrassing achievements. Special thanks from Duke Nukem Forever.
Okay.
Finishing the game and watching the credits all the way through. I actually finished that game. It's pretty
Wow.
embarrassing.
All right.
Yep.
Well, that does it for tonight. You win that most embarrassing
Yeah.
achievement. You finished Duke Nukem Forever and
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
the credits.
Yep. So my next one
Actually,
is the
real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I while Duke Nukem Forever is on the brain, I just want to jump in. Fun story about that game. Randy Pitchford actually went to the publisher. I don't who published that game. I don't remember. But he went to the publisher like in the final hour, and he was like, he had a pitch and basically said, "This game is a mess. It is so bad. Everyone is going to hate us. Here's how we fix it." And his
It was
pitch
2K
was
games, by the way.
his pitch was we're gonna change the box art. We're gonna make the box art just look like cardboard or like brown paper with just just brown paper with a Duke Nukem stamp on it or something. And then we're gonna change the disc art, and it's gonna look like it's just like a ripped disc with a Sharpie title on it. And we're gonna call it Duke Nukem Forever Bootleg Edition. And we're gonna sell it for
man.
$20. And he said, like, we're going to be very tongue in cheek. We're going to acknowledge how bad the game is. We're going to act like we never meant to release it, but here it is. And we're gonna sell it for $20, and people are gonna be okay with it. And the publisher had none of it, and now the game has gone down in infamy as one of the worst games of all time.
That
Yep.
would have been so fucking smart.
yeah, it would have worked perfectly for him.
It would have worked brilliantly.
I would have bought it.
I did buy it.
It would have become a collector's edition. It would have
Absolutely.
become a collector's item.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, wow,
So
that is very interesting.
it's yeah. Anyways, so just wanted to throw that in there with Duke Nukem Forever. Continue, Tim.
Yeah, well, considering I can't top that, I guess I'll just continue. I'm gonna go with the flag achievements from Assassin's Creed. For those who don't know what these were,
Oh,
There
that's
were,
just
like,
an embarrassing
100
amount of work.
yeah, there's like 100 or so flags hidden throughout every area of the game, and each like has their own set. And I got all of them at one point. Yeah.
That's not worth it in those
It-
games.
It was so much time, but like at the time I was like on a real completionist binge for a lot of games that I owned.
Oof.
I spent probably like a few whole days on this. It was not
Wow.
great.
Not worth it. Not worth it.
All right, so next one, one to reach the end. I love the name of this achievement because they didn't think anyone would actually get here because they knew how bad their game was. Can you
Okay.
guess what game this was? It was on the 360.
One to reach the end. Bad 360 game. Was it Kane and Lynch?
No.
Okay, continue.
It was Sonic 06, finishing the last story.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Another one that I was just
06.
like, wow, I can't believe I struggled through this bullshit just for this terrible ending. All right.
That's an
And
embarrassing
never
one to have.
never touched it again.
Wow.
My next one, this is more of a fuck you to this game because it was absolutely terrible. Have you guys ever heard of Quantum Theory?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
like the theory, like quantum theory.
No, I'm talking about the game,
Hang
on.
Quantum Theory.
No, I haven't.
So it was a 360 game. It was a Gears of War ripoff.
Okay.
Um,
There were a lot of those
My-
back then.
Yep, my brother had it. I was like, all right, I'll give this a shot. I started it. I got maybe 3/4 of the way through it in one day on hard, and I was like, all right. And I got stuck at one part for the next week because it was just so bullshit. I finally finished that game. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That game was absolute dog shit. It did not control well. The difficulty spike was absolutely unfair. And
Wow.
yeah, Death and Rebirth is the name of the achievement for finishing it on hard, and I wish I'd given up. I spent way too much time on that.
Interesting. So, most embarrassing achievements that I have, I did kind of a hybrid of the two. I have one that is like an explicit Xbox achievement, and then two that are like, if those games were made now, they would be achievements. So first the Xbox achievement, and I was just sort of scrolling through my achievements to see what I had and what I had forgotten about. I didn't even want to Google to find out what I did. Like, I'm a horny dude. And so like in video games, if I can fuck someone, I'm going to do it. And so in Fable Anniversary, I have the achievement marital relations, and the description, and I didn't want to look it up because I just want to leave it to the imagination. Marriage, 2's company, 3's a crowd.
I don't remember what that one's for.
I don't know what I did to get that achievement, but and then
Nice.
And then another one was in The Sims, the original Sims, there was a photo mode. So you could like pause and take pictures of your house and whatever, of your Sims. And I remember I was like a little kid, and I paused, and I made my Sims have sex in the heart-shaped bed, and then I paused and I used cheats. And I moved the bed, and when you move the bed, it doesn't censor the Sims. And then I went to photo mode, and I took a picture of them. And I feel like I would get an achievement for that now. But then I saw it was like saved. I saw the photo was like saved in the Sims thing, and I panicked, and I deleted it, and I thought for sure I had broken the law. And so I didn't do it again.
Arrest this man, FBI, where are you?
The little kid thing to think like, oh my gosh,
I thought
the
like,
police are gonna come
one-
and knock on my door because I took this picture of naked Sims.
yeah, I thought like 100% this is illegal.
That's illegal.
Yeah,
Oh my god,
and
that's
then
incredible.
and then and Tim, I'm sure that you know about this one. In Metal Gear Solid, if you time everything correctly, Metal Gear Solid 1, if you time everything correctly, and I don't even remember the sequence of events, I did this years ago, you can actually see Meryl in her bra and panties. And she shames you for looking. And I feel like if that game were made today, that would be an achievement as well.
Yeah.
But-
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, these are embarrassing achievements, and I'm here embarrassing
Nope.
They are
myself.
embarrassing.
Nope.
So,
I am secondhand embarrassed for sure.
yeah, you're welcome.
I mean, that just reminds me of another embarrassing achievement that I've gotten in the past.
Yeah,
Which is, I swear, I did it by mistake. This was from Lollipop Chainsaw.
Famous last words.
This is the infamous looking up her skirt achievement.
I mean, to be fair, she's a babe.
This is true.
And I definitely would have gotten that achievement in the Alias video game on the original Xbox. So, you know, it happens. So, all right. Well, that's now that we're all good and embarrassed. And by the way,
No. I got one more.
okay,
I got
Oh,
one
goody.
more.
hear it.
This one's recent. Can you guess what game it's in?
Apex.
Is it Mass Effect?
Oh,
It's
No.
Oblivion, isn't it? God damn it.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
No, what did you do?
The lusty
More
Argonian
misadventures
maid.
No,
Is-
however, I did find that book really recently in a traders office or his desk. So I was like, oh, so I know what you're getting up to. But yeah, so in the misadventures of my modded Oblivion run, I got this mod that lets you, if you charm people enough, or if you get them to like you enough with the little mini game that you do to like raise your relationship with them or whatever. I got a mod that lets you bring them along as like recruit them as a companion, and you can share that with their inventory and stuff, and give them equipment, take stuff from them, and make them basically your mule and whatever. But these two people I got, I noticed that they were really glitched because I put, or they had like 2 pieces of bread, and I'm in this alchemy playthrough where I'm just trying to take everything to make money by making potions, and you can use bread to make like a fortify fatigue potion or restore fatigue. And so I'm like, oh cool, 2 pieces of bread, I'm gonna take those. Next time I open her inventory, 4 pieces of bread. I'm like, where did you get those? Take those out. Next time I open the inventory, 8 pieces of bread. And I'm like, what's going on right now? And the other companion I had is like, all right, you have 16 bottles of ale on you. What the hell? And it just keeps going like this until, and I don't pay attention to it. I'm just using them as mules every once in a while. I open the inventory and they have 24,000 pieces of bread and ale. And I'm like,
What?
Okay, like you're literally being weighed down by all of the bread. Like, soon you won't
Stop
be able to
making
move
bread.
because you're carrying. Like, you gotta stop being Jesus at some time. Like, just like,
Oh man.
and so, no, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So, eventually, I am just at this point where I do a quest, and like while I'm going around, I have these merchants that I go to pretty frequently, and whenever I'm taking stuff out of their inventory, I'll take the bread and I'll just drop it on the ground. So I'm like, I'm not selling all that shit. Like it's 1 gold per piece, right?
You have
And so then-
24,000.
Yeah, but it would take forever with the slider and how annoying it is. So anyway, I'm just dropping like there's just random bundles of thousands of bread and ale around, all around Oblivion where I frequent. And so I do this quest.
Litterer.
I do this quest where in one of the in Breville in like the new mod version, and this woman comes up to me and is like flirting with me, and I'm just like, okay, what the hell? And she's like, you want to come back to my house? And I was like, I mean,
Yes, I do.
no, but this is, I'm really curious how, like, because I've had mods before in the past, like on Morrowind, where people didn't notice this, but they uploaded their mod with like explicit stuff in it that had nothing to do with like what the mod was. So I was like, I wonder if this is one of those things. And so I went along with it, and like you lay down in the bed with them, and then you wake up like in a sewer without any of your stuff. And I was like, oh. And
So you
I
got
went
raped.
back to, I mean, they took all my stuff and drugged me, I guess. So I went back to the trader and stared at that 56,000 pieces of bread and was like, I need money. So I took an hour to sell all of these pieces of bread
Just shamefully
to get my money
sold all
back.
the bread.
so that I could get lockpicks, so that I could open the door and get my stuff back. And like, so that's my most embarrassing achievement as of late.
Oh,
Is
that's
selling
too
56,000 pieces of bread after getting all my stuff stolen from me
funny. That's hilarious.
by just being.
you hated the bread. You started the story hating the bread, and the bread was your savior.
It was. It was.
And I mean, like, it was one of those situations where it's an exploit, so you just have to sit there and doing it for like however much time.
Yep.
Like, I remember there were hours that we would just sell Rusty Rebels in Grand Theft Auto, and we
Yep.
we would just hang out in party chat selling Rusty Rebels. And that's, I
Yep,
mean,
I
you and
remember
your
that.
bread.
Yep. The thing is, like, about the bread, like the people the traders in Oblivion have a max value that they'll buy something, and so if you hit past that max value, they won't buy it. But you can sell as many things that go within that value as possible. So I had to like adjust the slider to sell 500 at a time because it would only accept 500 gold. That's why it took so long. Is I'm just like sitting there selling it over and over and over again, sliding to 500, and it was really obnoxious because it's like the sliders, like the values are so crazy. So yeah, it took
That's-
forever, but it was worth it. I eventually got my stuff back.
Oh, that's hilarious. And I mean, okay, now that we've all embarrassed ourselves pretty good, let's talk about some things we're proud of ourselves about. Because we led with the most embarrassing because that's a good clickbaity title. But Nathan, we're just gonna go round robin again. Nathan, what's the achievement that you are most proud of?
I think like the two that I would say I have, which aren't like, I don't know, they're not incredible, but I really they mark games that I really really thoroughly enjoyed. So I got an achievement from Hotline Miami saying "Get a Life."
Oh yeah.
All these games telling me that I'm awful.
Yeah.
It's get an A+ on all chapters. So
Okay.
I just played the shit out of that game and yeah, got A+ on all chapters. And then there was this game on PS4 called Apotheon that was like just a free gold game or PS Plus game. And it's the only game I've ever platinumed, and I just loved that game for some reason. And it got to the point where I was like, well, I'm pretty close to platinuming anyway, so I went out of my way to try and platinum it. And then I found out that you couldn't because of a glitch. Like no one else had platinumed it, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to. I was like, no one's platinumed this game, like I'll do it. Fuck.
Really?
And then
So you were
I
the
found
first.
out, yeah. And then I found out I wasn't the first, but I was in the top like 1% or like 0.1%.
Oh wow.
To do it because eventually they patched it up, and as soon as they patched it, I went and did the thing and platinumed it. I was one of the first people to platinum that. So
Nice.
That's
That
kinda
is
fun.
that is a good one
Nice.
to be proud of. Tim,
Yeah.
which ones are you most proud of?
So
Is
I
it
have a
the one
couple.
where you looked up her skirt?
yeah, I'm super proud of that.
There is
still. Like it's
overlap.
embarrassing, but I'm proud of it. But no, I think at least as far as like what I went through, I'd probably say getting all the VidMaster challenges when they were still relevant for Halo 3 and ODST
Okay.
to unlock the recon armor for Halo 3.
Yeah, that's tough.
That was, yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that. Having almost all of the lasso achievements for Master Chief Collection.
Oh yeah.
I'm
yeah,
only
yeah.
missing Halo 1 and Halo 2. I have 2 levels left in Halo 2 and 1 level left in Halo 1. So I'm
What
super
is
close.
that exactly? Lasso?
Legendary with every skull modifier on.
Ooh, that sounds horrible.
It's terrible,
Legendary
difficult.
all skulls on.
but it's fun. Yep.
Yeah. No, that sounds miserable.
Yeah,
But
it's not
absolutely
great.
worth achieving.
Yep. So yeah, those ones are pretty good. I think the only other one that I could say I'm really, really proud of is from BioShock.
Okay.
The achievement, Little Sister Savior, because I didn't harvest any little sisters, because I'm not a monster.
I have that one
Nice.
too. I have
So do I.
the trophy because I could not harvest any little sisters. I am like,
Couldn't do it.
unless it's sexy stuff, I am like pathologically a good guy in video games. And it's like a problem. But when it's sexy stuff, then I'm going to save Scum and cheat on Liara. But no, I did the same thing, Tim. Yep. And like speaking of Liara, I think, and the one that really springs to mind for me for like really proud of this achievement, it's not one that's like really hard to get. It's just I just like it. It's Mass Effect Legendary Edition gives you an achievement called Long Service Medal, and you get it by completing Mass Effect 1 and then importing your character into Mass Effect 2, completing Mass Effect 2 and importing your character into Mass Effect 3 and completing Mass Effect 3. And so like you beat the entire trilogy with the same character the entire time. And I thought really hard between 1 and 2. I thought really hard about changing my character, but I didn't. And I'm really, really glad I didn't, because like it was just such a nice way to like, I don't know, that achievement was such a nice way to like cap off my adventure with Shepard. And I'm going through Mass Effect 1 again, and I love that game, but not playing with my Shepard, it just feels a little bit wrong. So that's what I'm pretty proud of. And then I guess we'll do one more, quick round robin, just throw out an achievement or an achievement or two that are just sort of shameful. Is there anything you're just ashamed of and you wish you could hide from your list? That's not looking up her skirt.
Not really. There are a couple games I regret playing, like Marathon Durandal. Mainly because it fucked up my gamer score, and it now ends in a 7 because I played this game.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yep. So that's like one of those things I wish I could take back. And I've been like, I looked at it earlier today as I was going through the list, and I was like, I need to beat you because I need to fix what I broke.
So it's like like an inconvenient achievement.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then all the rest on my list here are kind of like my favorite ones, like really weird, funny ones that I just saw going through the list. Worst day manager ever. Do you guys remember this achievement from Force Unleashed?
No. I actually I never finished either of those games.
Well, you played the prologue at least, I'm assuming.
Yes.
When you're playing as Darth Vader, killing a bunch of Wookiees. Yeah. Worst day manager ever. Kill 12 stormtroopers during the prologue as Darth Vader.
That's a good one.
Yep. I like that. Force Unleashed 2 also has a similar one. Poor Bob. You pick up a stormtrooper by force gripping. You shock him. You throw your lightsaber into him, and then you throw him at a wall.
Jesus.
You just beat the shit out of this dude.
Wow.
That's great. Next one is from the Deadpool video game. I don't know if you guys played that.
I didn't, and that game, licensing, just another fun fact, licensing made that game pretty difficult to get for a while, so it was kind of a collector's item for a minute.
Yeah. So the first 2 achievements in the game, they're called, the first one's free. And the second one is also free. So
that's
like you open the game and Deadpool's just sitting in a chair, and your first action is to press the A button to get up. You get an achievement for it, and he like starts talking, and then you get another achievement because he's like, "Oh, is this just going to be one of those games where you get all these achievements?" And then it just pops up, and it says the second one's also free. He's like, "All right, it's going to be one of those kind of games."
That's awesome.
And off you go on your adventure. So I thought that one.
Yeah, that is awesome. Okay, yeah. Nathan, any that jump out at you? Any that you're ashamed of, first of all, that you wish you could hide?
Not really. Not that come to mind. I do have one on PlayStation 4, a trophy that's called Stuck in Donkey Space from Nidhogg 2, and it's from me just playing with Gabe, and we were so well matched that we just could not get past, like we were fighting for like 12 minutes and none of us could win. And I don't remember if we just stopped or if we played through and who won, I don't know, but 12 minutes we were just not able to finish a round of Nidhogg, and those can go pretty quick. So
yep,
I think that's one to be proud of.
Yeah, I want to be proud of. I don't think I have any other ones that I like want to not be there. I couldn't say.
Huh.
But
I'm
that's the only other one I had written down for today.
that's no, that's fine. That's fine. I have some achievements that like I'm ashamed of in the sense that like because back in January, I just noticed that like, oh shit, I've gotten like 3 or 500 gamer score, and I typically don't get 500 gamer score in a month. And it was like the second week of the month. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to play all the way through Quantum Break and get those achievements. And then I got super addicted to it. And then when I was chasing achievements and gamer score for the month, Tim started doing it. And so then I had to compete with Tim, and that's not something I can usually do. So I cheated, or maybe didn't cheat, but I did some things I'm ashamed of. And I got 1,000 gamer score from Donut County, which, to be fair, Donut County is a great
That's
game.
a good game, though.
And I would
It's a
not,
great
I'm not ashamed of those. I'm only ashamed of the context in which I got them. And then I got 1,000 gamer score from this game called Fractured Minds that legitimately took me about 20 minutes to finish the entire game and get 1,000 gamer score. And I wish I could hide those because I'm ashamed of that. And then I got 1,000 gamer score from a game called The Gardens Between, which, again, to be fair, that game is like pretty creative. I would definitely recommend.
It's a very fun puzzle game.
Yeah, like I would definitely recommend playing it. Nathan, I think you would actually like it a lot. But again, it's just the context in which I got those achievements I'm a little bit ashamed of. So, I wish I could get rid of them, but I won January, so I don't really wish I could get rid of them.
Did you, though? I thought I was ahead. Oh, wait, no. You beat me in the last day because I didn't wake up in time before it reset.
That's correct.
Because my fucking sleep schedule sucks. But fun fact, I played all of those games because I saw them on your list and I was like, huh, how did he get ahead of me so quick? And I was like, oh, well, this is easy.
Jillian started doing the same thing too when she figured out she would like see me because she started trying to compete too. And then she would see me like jump way ahead and like she would go play that game. And she did the Gardens Between before I did, and then I did it. And then she was like ahead of me for a minute, and she was all proud of herself. And then she saw me do Fractured Minds. She didn't see me play the game, but she saw my gamer score jump up like 1,000 in 20 minutes. And she was just blown away. She like storms in the room. She's like, "How did you do that?" And I wouldn't tell her, so she gave up. Actually, no, I think she did play the game. But anyway, now that's our discussion on achievements. I'm sure that we'll kind of circle back to it as we get some good ones, and they're just fun to discuss. But I have written a special question specifically catered towards Tim because I think that I can step right into Tim's wheelhouse and strike him out. And Ethan and Jillian both think that I can't. Nathan, you're a little bit of a sacrificial lamb this week. Sorry. It's time for the weekly trivia challenge. All right, this week's trivia question. There have been a few Star Fox games that were canceled for a variety of reasons. One such canceled game was for One such canceled game was far along enough that a playable demo was available at E3. Which of the following years E3 press conferences or E3 conferences featured a Star Fox game that was never released? Was it A, 2015, B, 2001, C, 1995, or D, 2011? Nathan, I'll let you. Nathan, because you're a sacrificial lamb here, I'm going to make Tim go first, and I'll let you just hitch your wagon to him if you feel confident in him.
Okay.
I'll give you some sort of a chance there. Tim.
I need to ask for a little bit of clarification here.
Okay.
Because you specifically said that was never released.
That is
in your
correct.
question.
I know what you're asking. I know what you're getting at. It was never
Okay.
released.
Okay, so you're considering that was never released.
No, that game was released eventually.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to clarify because that
It
one
took
was released.
Decades.
It took 20 years, but yes, it
But
was
Star Fox
released.
2 came out. Would you like to hear the question again?
Yeah, I want to hear the years again because I think I know. This.
Okay. And no Googling. Do not Google shit. All right. There have been a few Star Fox games that were canceled for a variety of reasons. One such canceled game was far along enough that a playable demo was available at E3. Which of the following year's E3 conferences featured a Star Fox game that was never released? Was it A, 2015, B, 2001, C, 1995, or D, 2011?
I know which two it is. Two it isn't. Fact. Fuck. I can't remember if one year they actually had something out. I don't think they did.
I'll even give you a hint. Every single one of these years featured a Star Fox game at E3.
Gotta go with 2011 then.
2011, final answer?
I hate it, but yeah. Because I'm saying that now, and I'm pretty sure I know it's the other one now that I'm saying it. I'm just anyways, go ahead.
All right, Nathan.
I'm gonna say 2001. 2001.
All right, 2001, final answer.
Sure. I don't know.
Tim, what was your other answer going to be?
It was gonna be 2001, and I wish I changed it because I just remembered that 2011 was 64 3D. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, you're correct. 2011 was 64 3D.
Yeah. I didn't think about that one for a second. So yeah, it was 2001.
2001 had Star Fox Adventures.
Oh no, we're
There-
both wrong.
There was a trailer for Star Fox Adventures at E3 2001. 2015 was Star Fox Zero.
Yeah.
1995 featured a playable demo of Star Fox Virtual Boy.
Oh,
Oh,
my
that's why.
fucking god. I forgot about that one entirely. Holy shit.
So
That's why. I didn't think it'd be that far back.
and
'Cause
that
I
was
like
that
around
was
that,
back when E3
that
was
was
a
the
part
same-
of CES.
and that was the same time frame that they were developing Star Fox 2,
Mhm.
which also I don't remember if they showed at E3 or not, but that
You
was
were-
like
you
on the
figured.
docket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Ha,
Because like when you said 2001, I was like, could it be
That's
Dinosaur
so
Planet? even
early
though it
for
was
Adventures.
technically- Well, no, it wasn't early for Adventures. I was thinking it was gonna be like end era N64 for Dinosaur Planet.
yeah.
So it was like because that also wasn't released either, even though that didn't have the Star Fox title on it. That's what
Yep.
it eventually.
It
Became
became
Adventures,
Adventure.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we have for you tonight. No points going up on the board. Don't forget you can see everything we do all in one spot over at coldnorthpro.com. We'll be back next week talking about whatever happens within the next 7 days. So until then, reset. This is when we do the outro song.
Oh, there's music.
Yeah, you guys don't hear it. I hear it.
Does it sound good?
I mean, you wrote it. No, it sounds great.
Fucking Virtual Boy.